2025 and the hype of AI tools never seems to be going down. We've got new fancy tools like MCPs. Companies are rushing to launch their own MCPs now. And Kite by Zerodha is one of the newer ones. So today we're going to focus on how do I connect the Kite MCP to Gemini CLI. And I've tried to make this video very friendly for beginners. So if you're a product manager or just a business professional without any experience with tech, I hope this is an easy guide for you. So let's get started. Okay, for fellow tech guys, I would recommend you can skip this video and just view this Medium article. I'll link it down in the comments. I think you'll find things a lot faster. So now let's get to all the folks. So first, let's talk about why do we need this? Why am I talking about Gemini CLI or Zero the Kite MCP? The MCP was announced quite some time ago, so why am I talking about it now? So the thing is that MCPs are new, and a lot of people are not from the tech background and they don't know how to use it. So this guide is focused on covering everyone. Uh, while the Kite MCP is not new, Claude was the only supported one which they had documented on their page. The free plan of Claude is reaches the conversation length limit quite early, and it's also mentioned on their page by Zerodha itself. So the real appeal of Gemini CLI is that it claims of allowing about 60 model requests per minute and 1,000 requests a day. So that theoretically gives you a lot more, and it also has the 1 million token text window, sorry, 1 million context window. So that should be good enough for you to get the data from your stock holdings and be able to process it and use it well. So there are some prerequisites for this guide here. Before diving, I'm assuming that you have downloaded and set up Gemini CLI. If not, there's a quick start that you can follow, or you can follow any other YouTube tutorials if you'd like. And I'm assuming that you have knowledge about Kite, Zero the Kite platform, MCPs in general, the Kite MCP, and Gemini CLI. And you can read more on the Zerodha blog post. Here's a brief liner explainer. Here's a brief one-line explainer for MCPs. It's essentially just um, language for AIs to request data from each other. So take this example that you're using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. So they don't know about your stock holdings, right? They don't know which stocks you hold. They don't know when did you invest in them. So how will you give them that data? One way is you just keep copy pasting this data, and then often we struggle with the LLM or the AI tool loses context. So what is a better way of doing it? What if ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, all these tools, they could just directly talk to Zerodha and get some data, whatever Zerodha approves about you, and then you can chat with them naturally. So it will just be like asking a friend about your stock portfolio. Suppose the friend has information about if you're interested in Ashok Leyland and Tata Motors, for example, then this friend of yours knows your portfolio, so they can tell you about it. And this friend of yours also has the latest news, so that's the big hype about this. Um, so yeah, that tells you that. So you can also use it to find out how to double your money in 2 days. Hit me up if you are able to do it. I'll be your biggest fan. So let's come to the guide first of all, right? As I said, the prerequisites are that Gemini is installed. In case it is not installed, I would recommend going through this guide. So this guide over here, uh, this Zerodha page. I think that will prove to be helpful. Also, Gemini has their own GitHub documentation, so it gives you a quick start guide right here, and it's a pretty straightforward installation. So for the product managers or non-tech people, this is the tough part. I would say that this is the tough part. Once you're done with this, things are smooth sailing. It's a very simple text tool. It's very similar to ChatGPT, where you just enter your text and it does stuff for you. So you have to install Node.js and then run these commands. Also, you need to export a Gemini API key. But all of this is very well documented, and if you feel stuck somewhere, just refer to a documentation or a video. Now coming to the Kite MCP, uh, here is a page by Zerodha itself. It's a pretty good page, but it does not say anything about adding the config for Gemini. That's the focus of this video, and you can't just copy paste this and just plug it in Gemini itself, right? So that's the focus of this video. And I saw the comments, and there were quite a lot of people asking for Gemini access. So that's the focus. Yeah. And why should you care about it? And what all you can do about it? So as I was saying that, you can ask it for a breakdown of your portfolio and get sectoral exposure insights, and you can see what's going well, what's going not so well. So this is great for fundamental and technical analysts both. Okay, so let's go back. So now that you've gone through this quick start and you've seen the Zerodha blog post, you have a good idea about it. So let's just get hands on. So the first thing that you need to do is you can set up MCP servers in two ways in Gemini. One is a local installation and one is a global installation. So for this, for simplicity, I'm going to do a local installation. What I mean by that is this Kite MCP, it will be only accessible within a folder. So what I've done is I have created a folder called as investing. And over here, if I launch Gemini from here, only then Gemini will have access to Kite and it will be able to talk to it. Otherwise, I've not given it global system access. So if you just start your terminal, so since it's a CLI tool, you have to spawn it from your terminal, and you won't be able to get access otherwise, right? So for example, I have my terminal open here. This is from my another directory called as developer. If I use the command slash mcp, so this is what Gemini looks like. If I use this, you will find no mcp servers configured. So if I try to get my stock holdings, this is not going to work. What I have done and what I have told you in the guide is that when you navigate to the investing directory and open it with that, right? So I can do that in front of you as well. So when I'm in this directory and if I right click and open it in terminal in Windows. Yeah, so I'm in investing right now, and if I write Gemini over here, that will launch the tool. Just give it a second, and it will do some kind of verifications. And here, you'll see that two MCP servers are there. One of them is Kite. So quick just understanding that you know this will be only accessible within the folder that we are choosing, but that's an easy way to approach this. So for my non-tech folks, I in this guide as well, I have given you a technical approach and a non-technical approach. So tech folks can just copy these commands, create a folder, and everything. For non-technical folks, just simply copy paste these commands and within the terminal itself. So what you do is just spawn the terminal at the directory. uh, you can look it up how it is done and just copy paste these commands. If you don't want to do that, if you are very much against terminals, then what you need to do is just create a folder named as investing, and then inside we'll create a folder called as .gemini. The dot is very important, so don't miss that. Yeah, so I'm going to show you that I've already created it. uh, it might be hidden, you might not be able to see it in your directory once you create it. There is a way to unhide these folders, so that can also be quickly looked up. In Mac, it's command shift and dot. So if I open .gemini, then there is a settings.json, and you can also create a gemini.md file inside it. I'll tell you what and why all of these are used. So for non-technical folks, you don't need a VS Code installation or a code editor. You can simply just use something like Notepad or text edit in Mac to keep things simple. I'm going to use a code editor too. So next what we'll do is we'll open the settings.json file that we have just created, right? And that should look something like this. So it will essentially have a context file name. So I've given this code snippet in my Medium article. You can copy it from there. I have installed two MCP servers here. One is file system and one is Kite. So non-technical folks, don't worry about this. All you need to do is just copy paste this and into the file and it should be good to go, right? And yeah, that's the settings.json file. You can also use gemini.md file. This actually sets the context of your Gemini chat in this window, and this might be very useful. So there's this guide about it. I encourage you to go through it. Yeah. So yeah, Gemini CLI configuration. So this tells you what is the purpose of your settings.json, and it will tell you the ways you can configure it. I'll tell you about how you can give hierarchical context, which means that whenever you talk to Gemini within this window, if you have certain rules, for example, you wanted to fetch data or fetch stock alerts from a particular site, you can add all of this. So this is a very pro user kind of tool. So this is set in the Markdown format. That is the Gemini file. Now coming back to where we were, it's a settings.json that we had created, and you simply have to just copy paste the command. I have added the Kite MCP, I've added the config over there. So it's simple copy paste job that you have to do. And yeah, so you just copy paste it. And then you also created, if you remember, you created gemini.md. Here you can use your creative imaginations. You can add whatever you like. Currently, I've just left it empty for now. But yeah, you can customize it as I mentioned, and it will, trust me, it will really affect the results. Okay, so that's it. Very simple, super simple, right? So now what we need to do is we just need to open the terminal within the investing folder that I just showed you. We launched Gemini to open the CLI, and the quick way to check is running the MCP list command /MCP list, and that should look something like this. So um, yeah, so I had already run MCP DSC and MCP list on it, and it will tell you that this is one MCP called as file system. There's the other one called as Kite. So if you take a quick look, it has GTT order. So you can also automate your trading with this to some extent. You can get your holdings, get last trading price of some stocks. You can get your mutual fund holdings, get orders, etc. So there's this whole list of things that it can do. Now talking about what you can do with Kite MCP. Exactly. So I think in this case, the Zerodha guide is pretty useful. If you went through it, you will find out that you can use it for portfolio analysis. You can track your unrealized profit and loss. You can check if your portfolio drifts from certain target allocation. All right. So that is very helpful for fundamental analysts. And you can check top gainers. You can set up news. It's open grounds. Be creative, and you can use it for market research, stock research, account information. There are some example queries that Zerodha had also given on their blog. So talking about FNO positions, market overview. Uh, all you need to do is go crazy with these prompts, right? So that comes to the end of the tutorial. I'm just going to run a sample command that I was thinking of. So I already typed the MCP before, and my experience with it is that Gemini, even though they claim these, 1,000 requests a day and everything, so the pro model usually just, you get it for quite some time. It's better than Claude, obviously, but let's say after 20 minutes of analysis of my portfolio, it shifted to Gemini Flash. So when you hit around 96% context left, so this keeps on decreasing every time you send a query. When it reaches something like 94%, then it switches automatically to Gemini Flash, and what happens is then it flashes a weaker model, so the results are not guaranteed. And I ended up in situations where it was working with code files, so I was giving some analysis of my stocks, so it created Python files, and it went in a infinite kind of loop, and the whole UI was glitching out, so it got stuck in a place, and it kept repeating the same step again and again. So it was really stuck. So with Gemini Flash you could see that problem, but the pro model is pretty good. So you know what, let's just try this command. What I'm trying to do is, since I'd already tried some basic commands out, so what it has done is before, it has created certain files like historical data. So these are all Python files. You don't have to do anything. You just have to ensure that Python is installed in your system, and even Gemini can do that. So you can give it a go if you are not a developer. So it has these files already. So here's a mock command that I'm sending, that check my holdings. I want a breakdown of the sectors I hold with percentages. Next, on the basis, I want the news that is relevant to it, and I want a risk profile of my stock portfolio. So let's run this and try to see. So yeah, so it's examining the portfolio. It saw my portfolio holdings.csv, right? So this essentially, I ran the Kite MCP and made it write all these details to a CSV file, which is just like a spreadsheet. So now let's wait for Gemini to work this through. Okay, so yeah, so I ran the command, and it ran in 5 minutes actually. So it was all done. This might be faster for me because I've already written all my stocks into a CSV file. It tells me all the percentages of the sectors I've invested in, and then I'd asked it for a risk profile, right? So it did a Google search, it searched for Indian stock market analysis, and then it gave me a breakdown of my sectors again. And risk profile, told me that I have a moderate to high risk profile. Uh, the effects of the Union Budget 2025. So with financials susceptible to economic downturns, given that I've invested a lot in finance and banking. And then mutual fund holdings, there are some holdings that it's mentioned. Then healthcare and pharma, these are defensive sectors. So it gives me a decent enough report to look into if I don't know much about what's going on with my portfolio. So yeah, that's about it for today's demo. Hope you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe.